Hello and welcome back to some more Championship predictions. We've had our little break, but it's now time to do Week 16. It's full steam ahead now as we head towards the middle of the season. The next time we have a little break will be for the FA Cup in January.
Radford again. Oh, what a goal! What a goal!
If you're new here, welcome aboard. If you're one of my regulars, welcome back. And you know its usual service resumes as my weird and wild machinations try and guide us through this round of predictions. There's no real logic. There's no real rules. Well, in fact, we only have one rule, and we all know what that is. Oxford always win. Oxford always win. Oxford always win. Why is the Championship so hard? Sorry about that. Let's move on to predictions. And we start at Home Park on Friday night. Where would you rather be? Down in Plymouth for a bit of Plymouth versus Watford. It's more Friday night delights for the Hornets after they beat my beloved Oxford United last time out on the Friday by 1-0. But again, this is your classic case of a side that's good at home against a side that's not so good on the road. But Plymouth did at least get a point on the road last time out, and we know at Home Park they've been pulling results out of the fire. Last minute winners, last minute equalisers going in all over the place. So this should be a pretty good game. And Watford will be hoping they can fare better on their travels than what they've done so far this season. But from what I've seen, a very good, fluid, attacking side, and definitely should be an entertaining game. And I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. I'm going for a high scoring affair because neither side seems pretty keen on defending, let's be fair. So let's go for goals. A lot of goals, but ending in an honourable draw. Let's get your Desmond in early. Plymouth Argyle 2, Watford 2. Bristol City versus Burnley. This looks like it's going to be a tight battle over in Bristol. Burnley really don't give much away at all. They're not very entertaining to watch, and they have just about edged Swansea by 1-0, but scoring goals has been a real problem for the Clarets so far. And Bristol City have been pretty good under Liam Manning. It's only that kind of freak loss they had against Sheffield United where they really should have won that game and they threw it away late. But other than that, their form's been pretty good. And I actually fancy the Robins in this one. I think it's going to be one where the Robins upset the Clarets and get a big victory as they reaffirm their promotion credentials. There we go, can't say the word. And I'm going for a Bristol City win. I'm going for Bristol City 1, Burnley 0. Coventry City versus Sheffield United. Well, let's start with the Sky Blues. The king is dead, long live the king. Mark Robbins is no longer the manager. And very, very sad to see. I can understand why it's happened. It's not been a good start to the season, but just really sad. What a phenomenal job Robbins did with the Sky Blues. A fingernail away from getting them into an FA Cup final last season, but poor form is poor form, and the board have decided that his time is up. And this is going to be coming against a Sheffield United side who are joint top of the table and are buzzing after their Derby Day delight over Sheffield Wednesday. Kevin Campbell's kid getting the goal and Wilder jumping for joy. Wait, sorry, I've showed the wrong clip there. That's Wilder for Oxford United. Here he is, jumping for joy with that victory. And that is just Sheffield United in a nutshell and why they are, for me, such a dangerous side and why a side that's going to be... It's hard to back against them in this promotion race from what I've seen so far. Because when they're on it, they're a great team and they're going to beat you. But when they're not on it, they find a way to win. They show that Sheffield steel and they grit and they grind performances out like what they did against the Owls. And I think they're going to find a way to win this one as well. There's going to be a renewed vigour about Coventry, but still no manager in place at this point. And I think that Wilder's boys are going to get the job done. I think it's going to be Coventry City 1, Sheffield United 2. Over to the other side of Sheffield now, and it's Sheffield Wednesday versus Cardiff City. And yeah, the Owls still smarting after that Derby defeat. Was really a dog of a game, really. Not much in it. Sheffield United just nicking it there. But Wednesday, I thought, overall, probably deserved a draw on the day. And Danny Roll said so as much in his post-match interview. But back at Hillsborough and against a Cardiff City side that are did look like they turned the corner, but last couple of games have gone against them, so they're back in the relegation zone, and the Owls will be eyeing this one up as a way to get a big win to push themselves further towards the playoffs and further away from the relegation pack. It's very congested in the middle of that championship table. And I do just think Wednesday will be too strong for this Cardiff City side. I'm going to go for a home win for the Owls. I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday 3, Cardiff City 1.
Come on, Wednesday!
See, I've had a week off now. I've got a lot to say about all these clubs. I'm not rushing through it as much as I was. So bear with me. Blackburn Rovers versus Portsmouth is next up. And I've got a bit to say about this one as well. And I'm going to start with the visitors in Pompey. And I've got to say, what a fantastic win. Fantastic story that you had over Preston North End, Pompey fans. It's almost like that's a line in the sand and the season starts here. Josh Murphy smashing in a goal to give you the lead. And let me tell you, every time I see Murphy score, it does make me more and more jealous, but I just have to get over it. But the biggest story was the Bishop coming back, Colby Bishop coming back, bashing one in from the penalty spot. What a story, what a feel-good factor. And as I say, that's got to be where the season starts. Here now for Portsmouth. And you have to think, I have to think they're going to start moving up the table, but not an easy game for them after the international break. Blackburn, very tricky customer at Ewood Park, and John Eustace has got the team back on track after winning last time out. After a few sticky results, Blackburn are back on schedule, and I think Blackburn will be back on schedule on this one. Not an easy game, but one that they're just going to edge, and I'm going to go for a narrow victory for Rovers. Blackburn Rovers 2, Portsmouth 1. Luton Town versus Hull City, 2 managers, let alone clubs, that desperately need a win. You feel whoever ends up on the losing side may be their last game in charge. It looked like Rob Edwards had waved goodbye to the Luton fans after that humbling and pretty piss-poor performance against Middlesbrough. Thanks very much, Luton. Play Middlesbrough into a bit of form before they play Oxford. Wonderful. But he has remained in the job, as had Tim Volter, and there's a lot of Hull fans that have had come to the end of their tether with Volter. Apparently, the club's owners are saying the performances are not too far away from what you saw last season. But I thought you didn't like the performances last season, and I thought that Rossini got sacked because of performances last season. So what's happening, Hull City fans? I thought you looked a pretty good side when you played against Oxford. That's probably an indictment of how poor we are. But nevertheless, this is a massive game for these two clubs and these two managers. And I just think that Luton are going to edge it. I think Luton are going to win this game. It's just something about Hull. They just can't find the back of the net. And I think that's going to come back to haunt them again. I'm going to go for a narrow win for Luton to save Rob Edwards and maybe condemn Tim Volter. Luton Town 2, Hull City 1. Into the Lions' Den now as we go to Millwall versus Sunderland. Sunderland leading the way at the top of the table, just about on goal difference. You had that 5-point lead, Sunderland fans, and you were talking as if it was game over. I don't think you were, actually. It was just other people, other media, stupidly saying Sunderland are running away with it. It's never that simple in the Championship, is it? And you've been reined in, but you're still having a good season. Not great performances and not great results of late. And this isn't an easy game to come up with now. Neil Harris has got this Millwall side playing some great football. Tough football as well. Tough side to beat. Can't even say great football, really. I'm going to retract that statement. Just a tough side to beat and to play against. And you know that they're going to make the most of any opportunities that come their way. They're flying high at the top of the table, near the top of the table. And especially at the Den, they're looking a formidable outfit. Fall behind to this Millwall side at your peril. And I don't think Sunderland are going to win this game either. I think this is going to be another one where you look back at, think 2 points lost, but I think overall this could be a point gained because Millwall is a tough away fixture. And I'm going to go for Millwall 1, Sunderland 1. Oxford United versus Middlesbrough, undoubtedly the game of the weekend, I'm sure you will agree. Let's start with the visitors, shall we? And it looks like Michael Carrick's Boro have been played into a bit of form. Worryingly for me, they look like they've hit their straps just as they come to Fortress Kassam. As what we're going to see, probably another brutally tough game for Oxford United. And without doubt, most people will have Middlesbrough down as a bit of a banker this weekend. But let's throw that rule book out of the window window, not least because I have my golden rule, and not least because I have to back my beloved boys, who did put in a decent performance against Watford, but, you know, like this season, a lot of times we've got a lot of pats on the head, like good dog, but we've got very little to show for it. So it does become a little bit frustrating. I'd rather be an annoying git of a side and pick up points rather than being this side that everybody seems to commend and say, well done, little Oxford. Well done. But it is another reminder of how tough the Championship is. There's just no easy games, and the fixtures just look brutal, and more brutal the more you look at it. And it's tough to get out of a slump of form in the Championship. You're going to have to upset the odds somewhere along the road. And it does leave me pining for the days of League One. Where are the Shrewsburys? Where are the Fleetwoods? Where are the Northamptons that we'd look at and think, oh, we can beat this side? We wouldn't always beat them, but we'd look at it and think we could beat them. Oh my goodness, it does look tough. I didn't sign up for this. We didn't sign up for this when we got promoted. We expected an easy ride, but it's been anything but. But let's look for a bit of spirit. Cameron Brannigan back in the heart of midfield, leading Oxford's charge, leading Oxford to victory. A much-needed victory for Oxford United. An unexpected victory, but that is what the U's are all about. Oxford United 2, Middlesbrough 1.
You gotta be f***ing kidding.
Preston North End versus Derby County. I expect this one to be a bit of a slog of a game up in Lancashire. Preston, not a difficult side to play against, but struggling a little bit. I thought they were really poor in that game against Portsmouth. And I wonder if that new manager bubble has burst a little bit for Paul Heckingbottom. And they're coming up against the Derby County side that are playing with a lot of spirit and picking up points away from home as much at home as well. They did ride their luck a little bit against Coventry when they won away, and they probably would be a little bit disappointed not to beat Plymouth at Pride Park, but it's certainly Paul Warne's Derby side look fit, they look strong, and I think they're going to get something from this game at Deepdale. Not a classic, but Derby, definitely look at it as a point gained. Preston North End 1, Derby County 1. The Queen's Park Rangers versus Stoke City. Miserable time of it for QPR. The R's rock bottom of the table. Just one win all season. Things are not looking good in the QPR camp. When is it going to be a time to sack the manager? Surely it's not going to be too far away. And they're coming up against the Stoke side who are looking like $1 million, looking great. They've really turned the corner, and really you have a new lease of life on this Stoke City season. And I think that this one's a bit of a cut and dry away win for me. I think Stoke are playing with a lot of swagger at the moment, and they're going to go down to Loftus Road and get a victory. Tough times for QPR at the moment, but good times for Stoke City. QPR 0, Stoke City 2. West Bromwich Albion versus Norwich City. West Brom are such a carbon copy of Burnley. Those two sides are like the immovable force, unstoppable object, really, aren't they? They're just really solid, resolute, pretty decent going forward, but sometimes a little bit uninspiring. Goals hard to come by, low scoring games aplenty. And I expect this one to be pretty similar at Carrow Road. Norwich with a lot of injury problems, stifling them a little bit as well, and things not really going too well for them at the moment. But West Brom just really struggle to score goals at home. They really struggle to break sides down, and I don't expect that to change in this game against Norwich. You will probably go to try and soak up a lot of pressure and try and hit them on the break and sucker punch them a little bit. And I think, again, Baggies fans, it's going to be another tough watch for you at the Hawthorns, but I think you're going to edge it. I think you're going to nick it. Maybe a penalty win to 0, because that's what I'm going for. West Bromwich Albion 1, Norwich City 0. And we end on Sunday over in Wales for Swansea City versus Leeds United. This one got the potential to be a real belter of a game. Swansea, very, very attractive side to watch. Good possession-based football. Really run Burnley close. Very unlucky to concede a last-minute penalty to end up getting nothing at Turf Moor last time out. Leeds, we know Leeds should be punching at the top of the table, and they certainly are, but they just not always clinical. They're not always ruthless, and they have been throwing some points away lately. Did get a pretty cut and dry win over QPR, so no real surprises there. But I think another game where Leeds are going to be made to sweat and kind of pull a result out of the bag. And I am going to back Leeds in this one, but it's certainly not going to be easy. And this could easily go the way of the Swans because I think they are a very good footballing side. But I'm going to be backing the Whites. Let's have a victory for Leeds on the road. Let's end the weekend with Swansea City 1, Leeds United 2. There we have it, folks. That's predictions for week number 16 in the book. Let me know your thoughts down below. Give me your predictions down below as well. And who knows, if you're lucky, I may even respond to your comments. No guarantees over that one, of course. But thank you very much to all the people that do watch the video. The likes and the retweets. The likes and shares and subscribes are all very welcome. I very much do appreciate it. And I'll be back very soon to do a review of Oxford's win over Middlesbrough. And then there's all sorts of predictions video because we've got another crazy week coming up next week. Thank you very much. I'll be back very soon.
My work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?